It was the end of the summer the year I turned 12. There was 1 week before the beginning of 7th grade. I'd spent all summer doing the things that you do in the summer, and I was bored out of my mind. And Andrew came over. Andrew was sandy-haired and kind of shy. He liked to make jokes, he liked to draw cartoons, and he was pretty good at getting into mischief. And he'd spent all the summer doing all the things that you do in the summer, and he was bored out of his mind. So there we are in my backyard. I grew up in this pseudo-Victorian house. It was built around the turn of the 20th century, and by the 1970s, it was in a state of severe dilapidation, and my family bought it as a fixer-upper. It looked like someplace the Addams family would live. It had a porch that wrapped around the house and a maid's room in the back, which was my room. And I could look out my back window at the giant sycamore tree in the backyard. I had a rope swing hanging off the sycamore tree, and Andrew and I were swinging on the rope swing. And we started thinking, what if a person climbed out of Zoe's bedroom window onto the roof of the porch, and what if another person took the long wooden pole that we used to prop up the clothesline and handed the first person the rope swing? What would happen then? So then, of course, we had to try it, and I climbed out my bedroom window onto the porch roof, and Andrew took the pole and handed me the rope swing, and I jumped off the roof, and I had one hell of a ride. And then Andrew climbed out my bedroom window, and I handed him the rope swing on the pole, and he jumped off the roof, and he had one hell of a ride. And then I climbed out the window again, and Andrew handed me the rope swing. And here I have to mention that the attachment point of the rope swing was between the back wall of the house and the trunk of the tree. So if you were starting out on the ground like a normal person, you'd be swinging parallel to the back of the house and you'd be fine. But if you were jumping off the roof, you had to be really careful about your angle. Because if you got the angle wrong, you were swinging directly toward the trunk of the tree, and with the momentum that you got jumping off the roof, you could hit the tree, which would be surprising, so you would let go of the rope, which is what I did. And that is how I happened to start 7th grade with my right arm in a plaster cast. So there's the answer to our what if. It will be a whole lot of fun until somebody gets hurt, which they probably will. And it's only recently that I've considered the other what if. What if we hadn't done it? What if we stayed safe on the ground and gone home to dinner at the end of the day? Well, we would have started 7th grade and gone on with our lives and forgotten all about it. We would have forgotten that we ever spent that day together. And that would have been too bad, because then we wouldn't have had the story when we needed it. See, what we didn't know that summer we turned 12 was that Andrew carried the gene for Huntington's disease, which is a particularly nasty genetic disorder that kind of combines the symptoms of Parkinson's and schizophrenia and Alzheimer's. After high school, Andrew and I went off in different directions. We lived our lives. I didn't see him again until we were in our 40s. And by that time, he had begun to be very ill. He was living in a residential care facility in New Jersey. And at that time in his life, the people who stayed in touch were the people who had known him early on. His first girlfriend, Janine, got back in touch with him and became his advocate and his companion. She stuck with him all the way through his illness, and she was with him when he died last year. She made it easier for his friends from school to stay in contact. All of us who remembered that shy, sandy boy who liked to make jokes and draw cartoons. I went to visit him a few times, but only a few. It was hard to spend time with him, and as he became more ill, he could only speak a syllable or two at a time. It was hard to know what to talk about, but I could sing him the songs that we had sung together in the school choir, and I could say, "Hey, Andrew, you remember that time we jumped off the roof?" And he would say, "Yup."